Hello once again, I'm Cosmic, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the new free-to-play DC Comics based MOBA, Infinite Crisis, which was developed by Turbine and published by Warner Bros. Entertainment. Infinite Crisis released towards the end of March this year, and I was curious to play it at the time, however I didn't get the chance. Not to mention, I have never reviewed a MOBA on the channel, so I was especially looking forward to reviewing the superhero themed one. Infinite Crisis is set in the DC multiverse, where all the Earth's parallel universes are bleeding together. Due to this, both heroes and villains are being drained, and you take the role of a protector who has a neural link with the characters which replenishes their strengths. The game does a decent job of setting up the story with some good while occasionally cheesy voice acting and comic book style cutscenes. It's nice that the developers haven't just thrown a DC Comics MOBA together without adding a little story, especially since superheroes are all about the stories. Nowadays, of course, the MOBA market is highly competitive, with the two major players, of course, being Dota 2 and League of Legends. Infinite Crisis shares a lot of similarities with both, but more so with League of Legends. In fact, I would go as far as to say that Infinite Crisis is a bit of a LoL clone. Much in the same way as the MMO Star Wars The Old Republic is a World of Warcraft clone. Infinite Crisis shares most of LoL's mechanics and gameplay, and players of both LoL and Dota will be able to walk into this game with ease. Before heading into matches with other players, you'll have to play through all the tutorial missions, which contain the gameplay basics as well as some multiplayer matches. The tutorial is well executed and has some story-based missions that set the scene for the game. Not only this, but completing the missions unlocks several characters including Wonder Woman, Green Lantern and Gaslight Batman, who is a steampunk Batman. This intro and tutorial is a great way for new MOBA players to learn the basics, and also a great way for experienced MOBA players to unlock some good characters. Speaking of the characters, the character roster isn't too shabby. The Justice League is all in there, including Batman, Superman, etc., and supervillain selection isn't bad either. With the game just being released, the roster is nowhere near that of its competitors, and I was very disappointed with the fact that they filled up some of the roster with variations of the same character. For example, Batman has 3 iterations, being Batman the original, Gaslight Batman and Nightmare Batman, as Green Lantern has Green Lantern, Arcane Green Lantern and Atomic Green Lantern. It's just kind of, while they each do have different roles and abilities, it still remains quite a cheap way to bulk up your character selection without putting too much effort in. That being said, there will no doubt be more on the way to purchase via the in-game store, as is always the way with these free-to-play MOBA games. Moving on to the in-game store, there's the usual MOBA type content to purchase, including characters and cosmetic costumes. The store is not terribly overpriced, and no character has yet to reach over the $10 mark. Plus, if you don't want to spend real money, you do earn in-game currency that can be used to purchase anything in the store. Paying with in-game money can somewhat be time consuming, but it's the classic case of money versus time concept, and those not willing to spend real money can just happily grind out the coins. So let's get on to the combat, since this is what the game is all about. Before a match, once you have selected a map, from the currently limited selection of choices available to you, you can choose your character. You'll have any that you've unlocked in your account, plus whatever's free characters they have unlocked for a limited period of time, and this changes every so often. Once you have your character, you can then select 2 powers to take into battle with you. These are abilities on top of your character's normal abilities, such as super strength, which will allow you to pick up and throw heavy objects. Then you can, if you wish, change your amplifiers, which will affect your character's base stats for the match. Once in battle, it's all your run-of-the-mill MOBA lane battle. Each team has a power core and turrets in each lane. Bots will be sent by both teams in each lane, and obviously the goal is to stop the enemy from destroying your base while systematically trying to destroy theirs. One thing I did like about Infinite Crisis is that the focus is more on objective taking rather than just run-of-the-mill player killing. Around the maps are relays which will enhance your bot's abilities, as well as creatures to farm for gold, and some even give your team bonuses. The game also employs a doomsday mechanic that allows your team to at a specific time to defeat a boss usually in the main center of the map, and then gain a device that will allow you to fire a powerful energy blast onto any target location you wish, so you could target a group of players, a turret, or directly their main base. Taking these objectives on a regular basis is important, and because the relays will unlock after a certain time period, it's important to stay aware of the battlefield and the surroundings. Each of the levels is pretty well designed with a strong League of Legends influence, which is very noticeable with things like middle jungles and stealth pads all in play. A major problem I have personally with the level design is that it is, in my opinion, far too safe. The developers have not really pushed for something interesting or unique here. It's like they took the safe bet and didn't even attempt something new or at least something interesting, which is pretty sad considering it's based in the DC universe. Hopefully in the future content they will push the level design and introduce interesting battle mechanics that will fit the IP and make the game feel more apart from its competitors. Playing as superheroes, mind you, is a hell of a lot of fun. Doomsday teaming up with Superman and the Flash really never gets old. The powers that you can select also come in handy when playing as a team. For example, if I'm playing Doomsday with super strength and you're Green Lantern with Meteor Strike, you can fire down a meteor to hit a group of enemies, and then I can go in and use my super strength to pick up that meteor and throw it at them again, doing even more damage. I like the little combinations that you can create with other people, and I certainly think that it's a mechanic that should be expanded upon even further. As with most MOBAs, just leveling up abilities in a match will not be enough. You will need items, which in Infinite Crisis are known as artifacts. The more experienced MOBA player can pick and choose from the shop on which items to purchase for their specific build that they want to create, and most individual artifacts can be upgraded several times. I like that Infinite Crisis also has a recommended system for those either new to the game or just looking to focus on the action. You can simply buy the recommended artifact from the HUD without ever having to open up the shop and sift through all the artifacts. The HUD design itself is a little disappointing, with an almost exact replica of League of Legends. I would have liked a more superhero themed one that really distinguished itself from others. Character models too are good, but lack the crisp, sharp level of detail that I would have liked. If you zoom in, they start to get a little blurred, which is really a shame because the game would have really benefited from some good, high-resolution textures. The game's art style suits the superhero and comic book theme with decent cartoon style, but it's not particularly memorable in any aspect. The sound in both the soundtrack of the music and the voice acting is well produced and probably is what most impressed me aesthetically about the whole game. Overall, Infinite Crisis is a solid DC Universe MOBA that should be fun for fans of the IP. It should appeal to newcomers of the genre or players from other MOBAs who want a break. My biggest problem with the game is that it reeks of playing it safe. Nothing in the game strives to be mechanically better or unique than any of its other competitors, which, for a game that contains Superman, Batman and the Joker, is very disappointing. I would certainly recommend that the developers keep up the story elements in any new content that they bring out, as this could be a big draw. That all being said, once more maps and characters are available, it may be worth more people trying it, as it is, a solid fun game to play. After all, playing the Green Lantern and Doomsday was a pretty rewarding experience, particularly when you get on an unrelenting kill streak with Doomsday and you just own the entire map. So that is Infinite Crisis. Do like, subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you next time.
Ally power relay unlocked.